All right, what's going on, Fantasy Nation? Fantasy Umpire here, Danny Kitchen. I'm going to try to run through this kind of quickly here. We're about 2 hours from kickoff. It's 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm going to try to run through this kind of quickly. We'll cover last night's game. That was a total disaster for the Patriots. Just a weird game, start to finish. It just felt like they never got their offense going. It's kind of a funny game script, and it took Ramondre Stevenson out of the mix. It took some of those pass catchers out of the mix. There was that brawl where Michael Pittman got ejected for what seemed to be no reason at all. I don't think he really did anything on that play, and he gets tossed. And so, just a funny game, and not a Bill Belichick game in the least. It was just odd. It was nothing about that game said Patriots to me. So we'll just toss that one out the window and blame the game script and weird week, Saturday Night Football, COVID cases rising in the NFL. We can blame that. But I was dead wrong about the Pats this week. I was dead wrong about Ramondre Stevenson and his outlook. So yeah, I'll take the fall for that one. Won't happen again, guys. Appreciate you taking my advice. I actually hope you didn't yesterday, and hopefully you didn't start Stevenson, but if you did, I will make it up to you right now with our Sunday slate. So let's dive right into it. Weather report real quickly. Carolina at Buffalo, Tennessee at Pittsburgh, Dallas at the Giants, and Green Bay at Baltimore. All of those games are going to see and feel some gusty winds that could cause some issues for fantasy purposes. Nothing big there, but just something to keep your eyes on. Jets at Miami and Houston at Jacksonville games could see some thunderstorms. So nothing too bad there, but maybe some heavy rain. Nothing constant though. I want to touch on the COVID report as well. More than 150 players tested positive for COVID this week. That's just insane. So the NFL came in. They're gonna put in a new rule into effect, I think, immediately. Now all fully vaccinated asymptomatic players will no longer be subject to the weekly routine testing. So the league basically believes that the majority of the positive cases this week are of the milder Omicron variant, and so 2/3 of the positive players had no symptoms at all, and this led them to this conclusion. And so anyway, unvaccinated players will still be tested every day, but for those that are vaccinated and are asymptomatic, things are changing. This should alleviate some of the pressure with the false positives and players sitting out a week for basically nothing. So anyway, I'm not going to dive into that. It's great that they're adjusting, but it doesn't really affect anything this week. We're still seeing the effects of COVID and players on the COVID-19 list. So let's jump right into the 1 o'clock Eastern time games. Carolina at Buffalo. I like Buffalo to win this game. I like them to cover the 13-point spread at home. I'm going to take the under at 44 points. This is going to be more of a defensive battle. I think we're going to see a lot of Stephon Gilmore on Stephon Diggs. I think he locks him up pretty well. I think that Gabriel Davis is a name to monitor. Emmanuel Sanders is going to be out in this game. And Josh Allen's going to have to air it out. We know that the Bills can't run the ball. I think they get the run game going a little bit this week. Maybe Singletary finds some space out in the open and catches a few balls and takes them anywhere, really. He hasn't been doing anything with his touches, so we'll see if he can kind of up the production. But yeah, Gabriel Davis, he's a name to mention this week and going forward. Like I said, Emmanuel Sanders is out this week, potentially next week as well. It's a week-to-week injury, not day-to-day, so with those, they tend to last multiple weeks. Gabriel Davis has scored double-digit fantasy points in each of the last 2 games. He also had an 81% route share and 8 targets last week. So things trending up there. Fire him up as a wide receiver 2 this week. I like him a lot. Arizona Cardinals going to Detroit to take on the Lions. Detroit, 12.5-point home dogs. I'm going to take them at plus 12.5. I still think the Cardinals win this game, so give me that money line. $10 bet wins you $11.54, but that's printing money right there, you know. Give me the over in this game, 48 points. Chase Edmonds coming off IR. I like him a lot in this game. The Cardinals training staff is they're more reserved, and they won't activate players off IR until they are fully ready to go. They don't want to bring them back and just toss them into the mix for a couple of carries, a couple of targets here or there. They're not going to bring these players back until they are fully healthy, cleared to go, and that is the case with Chase Edmonds this week. So fire him up. He's a borderline RB1 for me, honestly. You guys are probably going to lose your minds, but he is. James Conner's not right. He didn't look good at the end of that game last week. You know, his stats will say otherwise, but he was dinged up on that last play in that Rams game. So definitely give me Chase Edmonds over James Conner this week. One thing to note here, a little tidbit, James Conner had 9 targets last week alone in the games that both he and Chase Edmonds played together this year. Conner had 5 total targets. So expect that target share to come way down. He's not going to get, you know, they're not going to run him into the ground this week. I think Chase Edmonds sees a lot of those carries in between the 20s, and then maybe when they get in the red zone, they'll give James Conner a few more looks. Of course, those end zone looks are the ones we want, but again, I think Edmonds gets the majority of the carries for the Cardinals today. Lions at home, they're going to be playing hard for Dan Campbell. I like the way he has this team playing right now. They're not great, they're not talented, but they're finding ways to stay in games and, you know, even win a game. I like Craig Reynolds, the running back, a lot. Jamal Williams is out again this week with COVID. I like him. He looked good. He passed the eye test. Fire him up as a borderline RB2, RB3 this week. I also think this is a big Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore game. Just a hunch. You know, AJ Green looked fine last week. He had a good game, but to me, the Lions are beatable with that deep ball, and those are the two guys right there. I just, Rondale Moore, the talent, usually wins out in fantasy. Maybe this is the week he gets it going against one of the worst defenses in the league. Cowboys at Giants. Giants give me the plus 11.5 at home. Again, divisional game. They're going to play them tough. That defense is better than we give them credit for. I still think the Cowboys win, so give me them in the money line. I'll take the under at 44 points. You know, I touched on the weather earlier. It's going to be a factor. Division rivals, Giants at home. Like I said, Dallas isn't 100% healthy. Pollard should get a couple dozen snaps today. Zeke is not healthy. He doesn't look good at all. Pollard's not healthy. You know, what are we going to see here? Corey Clement. Like I said, I think the Giants defense is going to keep this a little closer than 11.5 points. So give me the Giants to cover that. Jets at Miami. Jets 10-point road dogs. I will take them in the spread here. So Jets plus 10. Give me the Dolphins money line, and I'll take the over at 42. No Jalen Waddle is a factor here. Tua isn't really a gunslinger anyway, but I don't think they really need him to be in this game. I think they're going to run all over the Jets. Big game for Myles Gaskin. And look for Tua to run a little bit too. I think I'd like to see him use his legs a little bit more. Of course, he's got to avoid the big hits with his injury history, but he should be able to do that. Jets are also, they're going to have Michael Carter back, so I think they're going to be able to put up some points too. Like I said, I'm taking the over at 42. Look for them to lean on Michael Carter, the rookie out of North Carolina, on this one. Also love Devontae Parker for the Dolphins with Waddle out, and keep an eye on Denzel Mims for the Jets. I wouldn't fire him up this week, but he's a name to stash. Again, another guy, super talented, just not getting the run that he deserves. Hopefully he finds a new team sooner than later because the Jets just clearly don't want to use him. No Elijah Moore in this game, so target's got to go somewhere. You know, Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, we'll see. Dolphins running back Phillip Lindsay and safety Javon Holland are also out. So again, this goes back to Myles Gaskin, big game for him coming up. And Javon Holland being out definitely hurts them. This kind of plays into my Devontae Parker narrative. I think he has a big game. I think they look to him deep, and with Holland out, they are definitely beatable deep. Titans at Pittsburgh. Steelers, give me them -1.5 at home. They're going to win this game. I think this game goes over the 43.5 points. Not a lot of defense in this one. The Steelers are beatable on the ground. They're giving up over 130 yards rushing per game. Tennessee is a great run-first offense. Shouldn't say great. They are a run-first offense. Haven't been that great recently. I think they get back to it this week. Freeman should have a fine game. I think it's a big game for Najee Harris, Claypool, Deontay Johnson. You can fire Pat Freiermuth. He's a touchdown machine. Also, Joe Hayden will be back in this game for the Steelers. That's a huge boost for them, just in terms of mojo, but also, of course, talent. Joe Hayden is, I think he's a first-round pedigree. I'm pretty sure he was drafted in the first round. Actually, I think he was top 10, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Tennessee's defense doesn't scare me. Fire up all of your Steelers. I wouldn't be afraid to even play Big Ben this week. As far as Titan wide receivers, I guess you can start Julio. I would feel very nervous. Again, this is fantasy quarterfinals for some, semifinals for some. I think even some really weird leagues have finals this week. I would feel pretty bad if I'm trusting Julio Jones in my fantasy finals or semis. So trust what got you here. Julio Jones definitely did not. So I would probably stay away from him. But again, maybe he sees some Joe Hayden today. First game back in a while. I could see Julio breaking a long touchdown. Texans at Jacksonville. Wow. We don't really need to talk about this one. This is going to be ugly. Texans 5.5-point dogs on the road. This is the first game the Jags will have without Urban Meyer. Thank God. Darren Bevel, the offensive coordinator for the Jags, is now the interim head coach. Big James Robinson game coming. We've all said it. It's coming. The talent is there. He has been hamstrung by his terrible head coach who keeps benching him. That will not be the case today. James Robinson, RB1, top 5 running back play for me. No brainer. Marvin Jones should have a good game here. Texans are going to keep this game close. Like I said, I'm taking the Texans plus 5.5. I still think the Jags win at home. They're going to play hard for Bevel. And like I said, I'm taking the over. There's going to be offense in this game. Trevor Lawrence is going to get it going. We're going to start to see who he really is as a quarterback in the final four games of the season. I really like the wide receivers for Houston as well. Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins. I think they have fine games here. The Jags defense doesn't scare me. Let's move along to the 4 o'clock Eastern time games. Cincinnati going to Denver. Give me the Bengals plus 3 on the road. I think they also win this game. I like them as plus 135 underdogs. Bet $10. You win $23.50 with that. Give me the over at 44 points. I think this is a sneaky shootout game. Both have solid defenses that really haven't played their best recently, but I think the offenses get it going. Bengals are going to try to get the run game going again, try to get Mixon going. I think it works. I think they get Mixon involved early. I think he sees a lot of success, some P. Ryan as well, and that leads to play action, which is always great for the deep ball. With Burrow and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins should be a top 15 play. Also, love Javonte Williams this week. Don't be afraid to start him. I know he was on the injury report with a knee injury. He is healthier than Melvin Gordon, who has been on the injury report for weeks now with a hip injury. I like Javonte Williams in this game. Top 10 RB play for me. Falcons at Niners. Give me the Falcons plus 9.5 on the road. Niners are going to win this game. Minus 400 favorites. Give me the under at 46.5. That's way too high for these teams. They're kind of run heavy. It's weird offenses, but the Falcons can air it out with the best of them. But I think if they want to keep this game close and they know that this is the only option, they have to run the ball, right? It's you got to milk this clock a little bit. That's why I think it's going to be low scoring. I think we're going to see a lot of Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts. Are they going to finally get him going? We'll see. This is a good week to do that. Jeff Wilson Jr., second time's the charm. He kind of flopped last week. Let's see what he does with the starting role again this week. I think better things ahead. This is a great matchup for him. Borderline top 15, top 10 running back upside here. Actually, top 5 running back upside. I take that back. He's a borderline top 15 RB play with his floor alone. So really like Jeff Wilson Jr. Deebo Samuel should see a lot of standout rookie cornerback A.J. Terrell. Or is it Terrell? A.J. Terrell is probably how it's pronounced. Terrell doesn't move. He's not going to shadow Deebo. he stays on one side of the field. So it'll be Debo and Ayuk seeing him throughout the game. So it's anyone's guess which wide receiver has the better day. I don't think this offense is going to support two wide receiver ones, but I could easily see Debo finishing as a wide receiver one, Ayuk more as a wide receiver two, or vice versa. I could see either one having a good game. So it's really a coin flip to me. I'm going to bet more on Debo because he gets those backfield carries as well, and goal line touches, red zone looks. So they clearly trust him. He's the focal point of that offense, him along with Kittle recently. So yeah, fire up all your studs there. I like Ayuk, I like Samuel, I like Jeff Wilson Jr., I like Kittle. It will be a high scoring game, but again, 46.5 is a lot of points. I think it's right around 44, 45. If you want to buy a couple points, I would, and take the over there. But for me, it's under 46.5. 4:30 game, Packers at Baltimore. Wow, a lot to cover here. Packers, give me them in the spread, -6.5. Give me them in the money line. They're going to win this game. I'll take them over. This game's going to go over 43.5 points. But man, no team has been hit harder by injuries than Baltimore, especially their secondary. It's incredible. These guys, I think Jimmy Smith was just placed on the COVID list like 10, 15 minutes ago. They are just decimated by injuries and COVID, everything. Aaron Rodgers should have a field day today. Fire up Adams. He's a top 3 wide receiver. He should finish as the wide receiver 1 this week. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is a nice play. Lazard should get his. Aaron Jones should be fine. I think they're gonna blow them out. I think we're gonna see A.J. Dillon in the second half. Probably no Lamar Jackson today. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing for Baltimore. At least their pass catchers. Clearly, Huntley kind of got something going there with Rashad Bateman last week, so they have a little rapport. I think you still got to fire Mark Andrews up, but temper expectations for that offense. Things are heading south quickly for Baltimore, and they're losing control of that division. It's a division that I think Cincinnati's going to win, and we'll start to see that unfold this week if they can get that win in Denver. All right, let's go to Sunday Night Football. Saints at Bucks. I like New Orleans to cover the 10.5 points. I think the Bucks win this game, so give me them in the money line. But I think the Saints keep this kind of close. Divisional rivalry, NFC South. The Saints are still in the hunt. This is a bad matchup for the Saints, though, on paper. I mean, a tough run defense in the Bucks. Kamara's your go-to guy. Taysom Hill's a running quarterback. This could go either way for me. I wouldn't touch that point spread because I could see them getting smoked on the road in Tampa. But hammer the Bucks to win this game. The one thing I would bet on in this game is the under 45.5 points. A couple of good defenses here. I don't think it's a shootout. If it is, the Saints are going to get blown out in this one. They can't hang with the Bucks offense. But yeah, Saints are still fighting to stay alive in the playoff picture. Big Godwin game for me. Mike Evans is going to see Marshawn Lattimore in shadow coverage. So, I love to watch this matchup, but for fantasy purposes, hate it. If you're a Mike Evans owner, I wouldn't even start him today. Fire up Godwin, fire up Gronk, big Gronk game. Fournette's not healthy. He's going to play, but he's not going to get his full snap share. So keep that in mind. Saints are going to lean heavily on their defense to keep this tight. They're going to try to run the ball and control the clock. So again, I think this is lower scoring. 45.5 points is just too much for me. It's not your typical Saints Bucks where you got, Brady or Jameis Winston pre-Brady against Drew Brees. It's not the same anymore. You still have Brady. The Bucks should be able to score on this defense, but Saints are not going to be able to hold up their end of the bargain. And I think it is a low-scoring game. So Monday Night Football. We've got 2 Monday Night Football games this week, thanks to COVID. So we've got the Las Vegas Raiders at Cleveland Browns, 5 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. That game was supposed to be last night, got moved because of all of the COVID cases. Give me the Browns +1 at home, even with all of their injuries and again, players out due to COVID. I think they're going to win this game outright, +100 underdogs at home. Bet $10 to win 20. That's a great bet for me right now. Give me the over at 41 points as well. Nick Mullins is going to be starting for Cleveland with Keenum and Mayfield out. we've seen what he did with San Francisco. He's a fine backup quarterback, probably one of the better backups. He's actually the third string. So I like Cleveland. I like Chubb. Kareem Hunt's going to be out in this game, so Dearness Johnson should be like a RB3, RB2 play. Not a lot to touch on there. Josh Jacobs, fire him up. Darren Waller's out. Hunter Renfrow, got to play him. He's been as hot as anyone. Let's move on to the Vikings, the other Monday night game. Give me the Bears plus 6.5 at home against the Vikings. I like them to win this game, so bet $10, win $32.50. They're plus 225 underdogs. I'll take that bet all day long. Give me the over at 44.5 points. Not a lot of defense in this one. I don't think Thielen's going to play. I like Mooney a lot in this game. I like Fields a lot in this game. He's starting to look good. Montgomery I like a lot. I think the Bears win this game. This is going to be a fun one. All right, real quickly, 2 Tuesday night games. We've got Washington against Philadelphia in Philly at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Give me the Washington football team plus 5.5 on the road. I think this is a closer game. I think the Eagles still win, so give me the Eagles money line minus 250. Again, that's betting $10. You win 14. I like that. Give me the under at 42 points. I think it's a defensive battle. I really like the Eagles' defense and special teams in fantasy this week. But again, Hurts isn't 100%. Some of the running backs over there in Philly aren't 100%. Miles Sanders, I don't think you can trust him coming off that ankle injury. We haven't seen this team in a couple of weeks since the bye. So yeah, this is a tight game. Washington decimated by injuries and players on the COVID list. Philadelphia is relatively healthy. They've got a couple of guys out, a couple of guys dinged up. Big Devontae Smith game here. Terry McLaurin's going to play in this one. I like him a lot as well. Darius Slay's been playing well, but he doesn't necessarily scare me. Again, Terry McLaurin's more of a wide receiver 2 at this point than a top 10 or top 5 play, which he should be with his talent, but he's not. Just poor quarterback play, or inconsistent, I should say, quarterback play there. So, and then the last game of the week, second Tuesday night game, Seattle at the LA Rams, 7 o'clock Eastern time. I like the Rams in this one. They're going to win this game. They're going to cover the 6.5 point spread at home. Seattle, decimated by injuries, a lot of players on the COVID list. Sounds like Lockett's going to be out with COVID. Darrell Henderson's back for the Rams. I still think Sony Michel's the guy. Fire him up as an RB1, borderline RB1 play, top 15 running back. You can't play Henderson yet. I got to see it first. Sony's looked just fine. He's proven to be capable of being the starting running back there. So why would they turn to Darrell Henderson if they don't need to? This is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, believe it or not, still, even with all their injuries. They can make a run, and they know that they're going to need healthy running backs come postseason time. So fire up OBJ, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, all the typical guys in that Rams amazing offense. They are going to put up points. Stafford can produce multiple top 15 wide receivers. Can he produce 3? I don't know. Probably he could produce 3 top 20. So again, Cooper Kupp, top 5, set it and forget it wide receiver. OBJ, top 15 play for me this week. And Van Jefferson's like in that, 18 to 20 range. So depends how deep your league is. So that pretty much covers it. Again, Darren Waller's out, Kareem Hunt's out, TJ Hawkinson out for Detroit, DeAndre Hopkins out for the season. That's a big loss. Actually, I take that back. He's out for the regular season. There's reports that he could come back if they make it to the NFC Championship game or even the Super Bowl. But again, I have my doubts, and I don't think this team can get to the Super Bowl without him. So, COVID list, Allen Robinson, Case Keenum, Tyler Lockett, Alex Collins, Jalen Waddle. It's just a brutal week, guys. Anyway, I want to keep this short and sweet. I know we have kickoff in about an hour and 45 minutes, so I'm going to post this on YouTube. Again, Fantasy Umpire. Follow me on Twitter. I'll post the video there as well at Fantasy Umpire. Use the hashtag as well. Hashtag Fantasy Umpire, hashtag Fantasy Football News. Go ahead, like my page, dislike it, subscribe, give me some comments. I really would love some feedback. The only feedback I have right now is from my wife and my parents, my brother-in-law. So friends and family are great, but that's a biased opinion. So I would like a true unbiased opinion from any of my followers, any of my my viewers. You guys go ahead and watch these videos. I've posted a few now. I think this is my 4th one. I do a weekly video. I try to do some Thursday night and Saturday night coverage if I can. You know, I have a full-time job, so I really can only do this stuff on the weekends if I have time. But yeah, go ahead and give me a follow. Let me know how I can improve, and appreciate you guys. Happy holidays, and stay safe out there. You know, COVID's getting pretty bad. So yeah, thanks a lot for the follow, guys. Appreciate it.